You can as well decide to delete layers if you want to. And to delete layers, you can do this in a couple of ways also. Now, one of the various ways you can delete a layer is simply by clicking on the layer and click on the little trash icon at the bottom of the layers panel. Now, when you click on that, you see a pop-up asking you if you want to delete the layer. Now, click yes to do away with that. I'm going to undo that, so I'll use that same layer to show you how to delete a layer in a different way. Now, still with that layer selected, you can decide to right click on it, and the very first command on the right click menu, you click delete layer and you delete. Now, a very simple way to do that, and this is probably the way that I normally use, and it doesn't stress you much with dialog boxes, is simply by clicking on the layer and dragging it straight into the trash can. Okay, that is a very simple way. You delete the layer like that without stress and without seeing any pop-up dialog boxes that will stress you with questions on your working area. So I'm going to undo that. Now, you can decide to lock a layer to make it ineditable. Let's assume I don't want this layer to be edited in any way, neither do I want it to be moved. Now, as you can see, we are moving it currently. We can decide to move it to different areas of the screen. Okay, now I can decide to lock it in a fixed position so that it will not be moved. And to do that, you use the icon that looks like a padlock. Okay, make sure the layer you want to lock is selected, and then you click on the padlock icon to lock the layer in its current position. Now, you discover that even though the layer is selected, I cannot move or do anything with the layer. You discover that the background is rather what is moving instead of the selected layer. Okay, so that is how to lock a layer, and you can unlock it by selecting the layer and then clicking back on the lock icon to unlock the layer. Now, you discover that once it's locked, all these commands here becomes inactive, but when we unlock it, it becomes active. That means you can use your layer to do whatever you want to do. Okay, now we can also decide to group layers in different ways. Now, to group a layer, let's assume this layer, this, and then this, we want them to be in one group. And to do that, there are two ways you can do that. Okay, the first way is to create a group, and then you move all the layers you want to be in that group into that group. Now, the second way can only be used for rasterized layers. I'll tell you what rasterized layer or a rasterized layer is in subsequent video, but we are going to look at how you can insert rasterized layers in a group. Now, the first way, like I said, is to click on the group icon, which is the third icon from the right. And now when we click on that, it creates a group. We can decide to rename the group by double clicking on the name of the group to do that. Now, I will call that let me just call it round. And then to put in layers onto that group, you just drag a layer into the group, drag a layer into the group, and then drag another layer into the group. Now, you discover that the layers are being indented and moved a little bit further from its initial position, or from the position of a normal layer that isn't in a group. Now, the group is currently in an open state. Now, that is why this arrow is facing downwards. Now, if the group is closed, the arrow faces what? The right. Okay, now you see our round has 3 groups. Now, I'm going to undo that, and let me go to my history panel and quickly undo that. Okay, I've undone that from my history panel. Okay, now another thing you can also do in Photoshop is to merge layers, and to do that, to merge layers in Photoshop, you quickly select the 2 layers you want to merge. Now, I have another group here, and in the group I have a few layers. Now I want to merge the part and the group. Let me quickly rename that to strip 1 and strip 2. Call this strip or stripe, whatever. Stripe 1. Okay, that's the wrong double clicking. Now I'll call that stripe 2. Now I want to merge stripe 1 and stripe 2. Now to do that, you quickly select both layers by holding your shift key and selecting the second layer after selecting the first layer. Now select the first layer, hold your shift key and select the second layer to select both layers, and then right click on your selected layers, and somewhere on the right click menu you see merge layers. Now they become merged and both of them act as one layer, as you can see. Okay, now you can decide to merge a group, like for instance here we have round. Now to merge that group, you can decide to say, okay, I want to merge group. Now once you merge the group will automatically merge all the layers in the group into one layer, and the group itself will disappear. Okay, so that is how to merge layers, and that is how to group layers in Photoshop. In our next video we'll be looking at blend modes and blend styles. Okay, I believe you're still going to enjoy that, and we're going to talk more about layers in more subsequent videos. I'll see you there.